Welcome to One Quest Video. I'm Walnuts, and today we're going to be talking about board game Lost Ruins of Arnak. Lost Ruins of Arnak is an engine builder worker placement exploration game for 1 to 4 players. Developed by Min and Elwin and published by CGE or Czech Gaming Edition, is released in 2020. What this means is players take turns placing meeples and gathering resources in order to purchase cards to expand their deck and explore more of the game map. The box includes a double-sided game board, a resource board, 4-player boards, 4-player reference guides, and a large plethora of game tokens. If I spent the time to list all, we'd be here for about an hour. If you're a fan of popping out cardboard game pieces, this is absolutely the game for you. The one thing the game box doesn't come with is a good way to have the game pieces separated and stored properly between playing. I'll get into that later. We only played multiplayer, so that is the rule set that we're going to be based off of. This play session took us over 2 hours, but it was our first play session, and we needed to learn to play. Lost Ruins of Arnak is played across 5 rounds. Each consists of players taking turns completing one action at a time until all players pass. So as the game moves forward, some players may have more actions than others based on deck economy, resources, and available spaces to move. The 5 actions players can take are dig at a site, discover a new site, overcome a guardian, buy a card, play a card, research, and pass. Dig at a site means you move one of your meeples to a location on the map and pay the resource cost to get there, and collect the resources on that site. The position of the site determines what the cost of the site. The starting area costs 1 walking movement, or 2 if there's already a meeple at the site. The second area costs 1 jeep or boat as long as the site has been discovered. The last area costs 2 boats or 2 jeeps. In order to travel, you have to use cards in your hand. Most cards have a movement symbol on the top left corner. There is a travel hierarchy where planes can be used as wild, boats and jeeps can be used as just themselves and as boots, and boots can be used only as boots. This means if you need 2 movements to reach a site that only requires boots, you can play any 2 cards to move to that location, or 1 card that counts as 2 movements. But if you want to move to a location that costs 2 boats, only boats and planes will get you there. Every player has 2 meeples and can only move each of them once, unless they have a card that can recall meeples. Most locations can only hold 1 meeple, however the starting area where you'll be going quite frequently costs 1 boot, but if there's a meeple there it costs 2 boots. You're allowed to take both spaces on a region with your 2 meeples. Discovering a new site uses the same mechanic as digging, however there is a resource cost to reaching these new areas. For the middle area it costs 3 compasses, which is a resource you gather through cards and digging in the beginning area, and the top area costs 6 compasses. Once a player discovers a new site, they take the idol, which has a specific effect on it, resolve the effect, and draw a new site from the corresponding deck. They resolve the action on the newly discovered site and then uncover a guardian. If the player's meeple is on a site with a guardian at the end of the round, they take a fear. They can take an action to overcome the guardian. If there are no meeples on this site, the player can reach these sites with a dig at site action and not have to pay the compass cost. Overcoming a guardian takes an action. Each guardian has a resource cost on them. To overcome the guardian, you take an action by paying the resource cost. The player gathers the guardian. Each overcome guardian rewards the player with 5 victory points and a one-time use boon that can be anything from a free travel icon or free action to draw a new card. Buying a card is self-explaining. The game board starts with a shop of 5 item cards and 1 artifact card. Items cost gold, artifacts cost compasses. As the game moves forward, the item shop shrinks and the artifact shop grows. Buying item cards put these items at the bottom of your deck. Buying artifacts activates the artifact, then the card is put into your play pile. Playing a card is also self-explanatory. Players can play a card from their hand and resolve its effects. Artifact cards have a cost to play with a tablet, which you pay whenever you play it from your hand. Some cards have a lightning bolt, which is a free action. Free actions can be used at any time throughout your turn, before, during, or after taking your action. For research, the players must pay a resource cost to move up the track on the right side of the board. Each player has a magnifying glass and a book. You must move the magnifying glass before moving the book, but the book can never pass the magnifying glass. Each research level has a victory points reward based on what token reaches that level. Lastly, there is the pass action. Once a player passes, they cannot make any more actions that round. The round ends when every player passes. Once every player passes, you gather your meeples, discard any cards left in your hand if you want, shuffle your played cards and place them at the bottom of your deck, refresh any assistants, which is a mechanic we won't get into, then draw to refill your hand to 5 cards. You then exile or discard 2 cards next to the moon staff at the top of the board, move the staff 1 spot over, and replace those with new artifact cards. Starting player token moves to the left, and the next round starts. The play then continues for the rest of the rounds as players compete on gaining victory points, resources, and buying cards, all in an attempt to finish round 5 with more victory points than everyone else. At the end of the game, you calculate your victory points based on purchased cards, research track, idols, guardians overcome, temple tiles gathered, and subtract any fear that the player has. Our game ended with 2 players around 30 points, and the winner winning 60 to 59 because of the fear cards. Every player starts with 2 fear cards, and there are actions that you complete throughout the game that might get you more. A fear card subtracts 1 victory point for each card that you have, and there are ways to remove them with other playable cards and actions throughout the game. I had a lot of fun playing this game. Many games I've played lately have been more party and cooperative. This is a breath of fresh air playing something competitive that uses a little more brain power and strategy. The combination of worker placement and engine building was a refreshing take on both those styles of gameplay, even if I'm new to the worker placement style. With how many pieces there are to this game, this may be a bit daunting to a newbie board game player, but I feel the single action turns make it pretty easy to pick up. I would say this game is better suited for the moderate level of board game player, but a beginner should be able to have fun after a few turns and learning the ins and outs of the game. This is not a game I would introduce a first time board gamer with, but is a game I want to play with all my friends no matter their experience level. As stated in the past, I'm pretty bad at reading instructions and interpreting the game rules, but as I was writing this review and going through the rulebook, it's well laid out and easy to understand. My only real complaint about this game is the method of storing the game between plays. There's no plastic compartments that hold each of the tokens, but instead a large number of Ziploc baggies. However, there aren't even enough baggies to separate all the tokens into their own bag. There are some creators out there that have made storage containers for this game. I just wish there was something better included with the game. Overall, with the millions of tokens in this game, it can be an intimidating game to play for any beginner board gamer. However, I think with the player references and the well drawn out rulebook, this game is quick to pick up and incredibly fun for any gamer who likes a competitive style strategy board game. So if you and your game group like a competitive style engine builder strategy game, I highly suggest keeping an eye out for Lost Ruins of Arnak at your friendly local game store. We would like to thank everyone over at CGE for giving us this opportunity to play and review the Lost Ruins of Arnak. This was an incredible experience, and I look forward to trying out some of their upcoming games like SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. That's it for me here. If you want to see a more in-depth video of our play session, I'll be posting a vlog-style Let's Play over on my channel in the upcoming weeks, so please keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, I think that's a show. If you'd like to see more of our content, check us out on facebook.com/OneQuestOnline, X, Instagram, and Threads at @1_Quest, and be sure to listen to PodQuest on Thursdays every week, where all podcasts are available. See you all next time.